Hey guys, welcome back. You've been asking for this one. Today it's about rental properties and how to make them feel like you. So the number one thing I always do is paint the walls. And you can also do a little bit of peelable wall covering, which I'm going to show you in a second. But it's a great investment of your time because it really personalizes it. Look at this space, for instance. This room in white would be just so boring. But in this groovy color, it's an amazing personal statement of that person. It's really worth your time. Also, let me show you a couple of these really amazing peelable wall coverings. I'm so in love with this one. Is from the inside and it has the Scalamandre zebra on it. Now, you can't use this stuff everywhere. You have to be a little judicious, right? Maybe an accent wall behind your headboard, or a niche in the living room, or maybe even a bathroom. Any one of those places can benefit from some of these really great little wall coverings. Like, look at these. There's some really great murals out right now, which I adore, and that would be an amazing accent wall somewhere. I love this one that's the super close roses, and these are great, and you can peel them off when it's time to move. And if you're in a rental property at this point, just put rent down in the comments down below. So the second thing that you always have to address in a rental is window coverings. And a lot of times they're usually kind of cheap blinds, or even vertical blinds if you have a slider door over a patio or something. And so, what do you do with those? How do you address them? I usually actually take down the vertical blinds and then install a lightweight sheer or something like that in the front of it, so that you get this really softened residential look to it. It stops looking like a commercial space or a rental, and that's the key. And there's a ton of vendors online where you can buy these standard panels. Look at those look great. Remember to be sure and hang them as high as possible, even if you have to take the hem out so that they get closer to the floor, and that'll just really kind of make the house feel a little bit more homey and comforting. Now, the third thing that you want to definitely address is your flooring. Now, if you're lucky enough to have wood or vinyl, even concrete, those are great because those are conditions where it's really easy to put down a nice area rug. And if you saw this video, which is a deep dive on area rugs that I did a couple of weeks ago, that'll give you all the information on how to determine which ones you want to use, what sizes, etc. If you're in a rental space that is fully carpeted, here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm not a super big fan of putting rugs over carpet, especially in rentals, because usually that rental property usually has a carpet that has relatively deep tufting. And so you want to avoid putting area rugs on things like that. So focus your money and your effort in other areas, maybe your window treatments or painting or the wall coverings or some of these other suggestions, and just don't worry about the carpet. So the fourth item that you guys know that I'm a little bit of a bug about is your lighting situation. So unfortunately, people just put in builder standard stuff, usually in rentals, and they're not that attractive. Usually the pendant that's hanging over whatever the dining area is a little on the dumpy side. There might be something over in the kitchen that you can replace easily. And take a look at your bathrooms, because sometimes those bathroom lights are just really ugly. So be sure and keep them, store them away so that when you move out, you can put them back. But let's get those things changed out. Now, you guys know that I'm a fan of some of the things, if you've seen the IKEA video, of course, that I love some of their basket pendants. But take a look at some of these. They're just amazing. I love them. They're not very expensive, and they give you a really chewy personal statement there. I mean, they're really fun. You could do some boho mixes with some of these. I love this one that's kind of like egg crate that's been sprayed white. I love that, and it's less than $100. So they're really good looking options, and it's easy to just switch out that existing one that's there and really make this a statement about you. Another thing to do with your lighting is to put as many of your fixtures as you can on dimmers. I showed you the one that you can buy that's for a cord, or if you want to get a couple of dimmers for the main fixtures in the ceiling and install them on the walls, go ahead and do that, because it really gives you the ability to control the lighting in the space and really personalize it for you. And then the last thing that I kind of love is the idea of doing, there's some of these really cute little plug-in wall sconces, and I love something like that kind of by the bed, and so you just screw them in, but then you just plug them in down below anyway, and they look really customized and special and intentional. So consider that an option also when you're in a rental. And if these tips are making a big difference for you, make sure to comment down below, like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Okay, so the fifth tip is all about kitchens, and kitchens are kind of a big deal because you usually see them in rentals. So first thing is, if you have those kind of dumpy old wood cabinets, you can approach your landlord about painting them. He's probably gonna do it anyway, so if you approach him about it and he says yes, then score. But if he says no, then what we're gonna move on to is just changing out the hardware, because usually it's just that silly button stuff, and we can always improve on that. Look at some of these cool ones. You know, it really makes a difference to change up the hardware, even on the wood. I love this one that looks like a little geode front, and the other one that's just kind of a clean bar but in a black. That's super nice too. And it really dresses things up, so that's a #1 tip. Now the next thing that's really cool about kitchens that you can do now is there's this cool product out that is kind of like the peelable wallpaper, but it's like a cross between the wallpaper and a sticker. And look at this stuff. You can put it literally right over the wall if you don't have a backsplash, or if you do have a backsplash, you can put it right over that if it's an ugly one. And it's so groovy looking. These look just like tiles. It's amazing. And they can be removed when you leave. So this is a big update for a kitchen that we never really kind of had before if you're in a rental. So #6 on my list is storage. And usually that's because most rental properties are probably a little bit cozier than you want to end up in. So what you want to think about is things that are freestanding that you could end up taking with you that look like they're built in. But there's a lot of vendors out there that can do some freestanding stuff. If you look at some of these ideas here, I mean, this is a whole wall of, I believe it's Billy, that's meant to look like it's built in, but it's completely easy to take away when it's done. So I know storage is always a consideration, so think in terms of these solutions, and that'll really integrate storage with your space and make it feel more like you. So this next tip, #7, is wall decor and artwork. And this is kind of a fun one because you can really go crazy with this even in a rental place. But let me tell you, your best friend, if you're in a rental that's on the smaller side, is mirror. Oh my gosh. The bigger, the better. And if you have to lean them against a wall, like I see in this picture here, I love that look. That's a groovy look. So think about using them to extend the space in any way you can. And if you're going to use artwork, like I'm showing here, what you want to do is isolate it, because you don't have a lot of wall space. You want to isolate it to one single piece or maybe two, but they need to be good sized, and they need to be either a punch of color or a black and white graphic so that they're important in the space. And then that way you really end up having a focal point that drives your style statement even in a rental. So I love this vintage bar poster that's oversized and just leaned against the wall here in their kitchen or dining area. And it makes such a great statement about them. And you can totally do the same thing and make it about you guys. So my next tip is really a fun one, and it's all about your little outdoor space. It's either a patio or a balcony, whatever you've got, we're gonna maximize it for you. You wanna make sure that it feels like an extension kind of your living room. So go to town on it. If you saw my video that I did a couple weeks ago all about outdoor spaces, you know I'm a big fan of outdoor rugs. You definitely want one if you're on a balcony, because it takes away that kind of sterile effect. And then you want to lush it up a little bit. Make it a space you can use. Can you put a little table and 2 chairs out there for a cafe setup? That'd be cool. Or if you just have room for like a little bit of cool lounge seating, maybe some thrown pillows around, be sure and add some planting. I love herb gardens, so those make you feel really like you're in your own space. Always add outdoor lighting, either the little string lights or something sweet like a little hurricane or something, and make it an extension of your living space. I love this little picture where clearly they don't have much. They maybe have 80 feet and it's just 2 little chairs, but they've done a sweet little box with some flowers in it, and it really feels like them, whoever they are. So you can do the same with your balcony as well. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention for all of you who had asked me or expressed concern about putting holes in the walls of a rental. Putty is your buddy. Remember that phrase. So what this is really is, here in the States we have a product called DAP or spackle. And what it is just goop. Okay, and what you do is you take it out, you put a little bit on your finger, you press it over the hole that's in the wall, and then when you're done, when it's dry, you sand it down a little bit, and voila, you're done. You have no more holes in your walls. So this stuff is really inexpensive, and it's going to be your friend because it allows you to do whatever you want with those walls and then repair it for nothing flat. So guys, I honestly believe that everybody has that little bit of designer spark inside of them. I hear it every time I speak to some of you guys. I know it's there, you just have to let it out. So be sure and check out these other videos that I've done and get onto my email list. Go to lisaholtdesign.com and put your email in there, and I'll make sure that you're kept up to date on everything that's happening for the Design Club. And I'll see you guys next week.